Hello and happy Valentine's week. I am in the studio today. I am still working through some questions that have been sent to me for studio talks, and thank you so much for sending me your questions. Please don't hesitate. I would love to hear from you. If you have a question you would like for me to answer or a topic you would like for me to talk about in one of these videos, please send it to me. You can put it in the comments here or use the contact form on my website, find me on Facebook, send me an email, however it is that you would like to reach out to me. I would love to hear from you and talk about things that are of interest to you. I did want to share something this week. I am reading a book right now. I'm actually not reading it. I'm listening to it on Audible. And I always like to listen to her books because I like to hear her voice reading the book. I'm listening to Tosha Silver's book, It's Not Your Money. I love her work. I love her writing. I love her outlook. I feel just a resonance with her, I guess. And this book is, it's sort of an antidote to manifesting culture, I think, because it is a book about money and about healing around finances. But instead of talking about trying to make things happen or bring things into being, this is a completely different approach that is about letting go, about surrender. The title, It's Not Your Money, refers to the fact that it is God's money. It's the money belongs to the divine, that everything belongs to the divine. And so the book really sets you onto this path of surrender, of opening, of letting go of everything in your life and saying to God, this belongs to you, this belongs to you. It's a really beautiful, I highly recommend this book. For me, it just feels good. It feels true. It makes sense to me in a way that some other books or programs about money don't. But I wanted to talk about it today because as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking what she's talking about is also about painting. It's also about the way I paint. You know that I call my paintings prayer paintings, and that is referring to the fact that I am quite literally painting prayers, either mine or yours, by writing them on the canvas first and then intuitively painting. But I also call my paintings prayer paintings because to me, the act of making art is devotional. It is a form of meditation. It is a form of prayer. It is a way of letting go, which is in opposition to, I think, the way that many of us are taught to make art when we're younger, especially if you've ever gone to art school or been in an art class and you learn all of these rules about art making, and there's a hierarchy and a structure. And I remember, when I was in college, before I would make a painting, I would get my sketchbook out and I would sketch the painting and design it and figure it out, and I knew exactly what I was going to try to do on the canvas before I started painting. The way that I paint and make art now is complete opposite of that. I have no idea what I'm going to do or what's going to appear on the canvas, and a great deal of what I do as a painter now is about trust and about trusting what shows up and what wants to be there, listening to the integrity of the painting itself, listening to that painting, that particular painting, speak to me and tell me what it wants and what it wants to be. And in order to do that, I have to be in a certain amount of surrender. I have to be in a state of openness. And so when I walk to the canvas and I get ready to paint, I am going into a meditative state, and I'm going into this posture, the posture of openness, of receiving, of opening myself to the divine and saying, okay, here we go. Here's the question. Here's the prayer. Here's the moment. Here's the relationship. I'm painting with this other person who's requested this painting, and we're both opening our hearts to you and allowing this flow of whatever is going to come through. And I believe that art making can be this really beautiful devotional practice for everyone, whether or not you are an artist, or whether or not you want to do this professionally, whether or not you want to paint. You may not want to paint. You may not want to go buy art supplies and painting supplies and dedicate time to that. But whatever it is that you are doing that is creative, that creative act can become an act of devotion. Whether it's coming up with a dish that you're cooking in the kitchen, or making a collage, or sewing something, knitting something, anything that you are doing with your hands to create, that you can offer that creative practice to God. You can offer that creative practice to the divine. You can open your heart and allow creation to be prayer, to allow it to be meditation, allow it to be your connection to the divine. I've often said to you that when I meditate, I feel like I am being plugged into God, like plugged into the God socket. That, I'm floating out here. I have my anxieties and my thoughts and my whatever, my stressors, whatever's going on. And I sit in meditation and boom, I'm plugged into source. I'm plugged into the divine. All of that other stuff goes away. And I can be in that connection. And that's how painting is to me too. It's being in the connection. In fact, sometimes if I'm trying to paint and I can't, and I feel like I'm not really in the connection, I'll have to just stop and walk away. That's why I can't tell someone with absolute certainty how long it's going to take me to complete your painting, because I don't know. I have to be in the flow and it has to happen. I have to be making that connection in order to make the painting. So I described to you last week the prayer painting plus Reiki package that I offer. Of course, I also offer just the prayer painting on its own, which is a 20 by 24 canvas that you receive with your prayer painting. I've also added this other little element, another way to work in devotion with you, which is a soul care session. I have kind of played around with what I offer under that name for a while. But I decided that it would be cool to offer this work on a smaller scale. So maybe you want to just see how it feels. You want to see what this is like to give me your prayer or to give me your question. And so I'm now offering this. I will do this process. I will enter into this process of devotional art making on your behalf, except that instead of creating a painting, I'm going to work in my art journal. And what you receive then is the intuitive impression. You'll receive me explaining to you what I felt and what came through, and then just a PDF image of what happened in my art journal when I was working with you. And so I think I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about having that tier of devotional art making for you. And you can find that on my website now if that's something that interests you. So I would love it if you would make art this week as a form of prayer. Make art and dedicate your art to the divine. Dedicate your art to your spiritual self. Make something from your heart. And if you do, please tell me about it. I would love to see it. I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear how this process felt to you. If it was different for you than other times that you have created or made art, or just leave me a comment and let me know how do you love to create? What do you love to make? I'd love to hear your answer. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this video. Happy Valentine's Day. I sure do love you. Open your heart and let that love that exists for you flow in through you and to you. Feel the love. Give yourself the love this week. And I will be talking to you soon.